by the Montana Television Network. Montana This Morning continues on Montana's News Leader.
'Tis the season for giving gifts and suddenly paying property taxes too. I'm John Schumo in New York, and I'll have that story.
And Americans hoping to save some money on their next tax bill are trying to hurry up and hand over money before the new year.
Yeah, though confusion over the just signed tax bill, though, has many wondering whether the effort during the holiday season may end up being a waste of time. CBS's John Schumo is in New York to help explain.
Throughout the nation, long lines have been forming at tax collection offices. The reason for those lines?
Wanting to prepay my real estate taxes. Oh, sure.
Americans who own an expensive home or live near a big city like Atlanta or Dallas, or in a high-tax state like California, Massachusetts, or New York, are scrambling to see if it makes sense to prepay their 2018 property taxes. The reason being, the tax overhaul signed last week by President Trump puts a new $10,000 limit on the amount of state and local taxes people can deduct from their federal tax bill. Even accountants, though, aren't always sure whether prepaying in 2017 will prevent the bigger hit in 2018.
There is no one answer.
The IRS posted an advisory on its website that basically boils it all down to this one, still somewhat complicated sentence: a prepayment of anticipated real property taxes that have not been assessed prior to 2018 are not deductible in 2017.
With the bill being passed in December, you only gave the average person approximately 2, maybe 3 weeks to make an informed decision. Here in New York, Governor Andrew Cuomo went as far as issuing an emergency order a few days ago, allowing for prepayment of some property taxes. That may not help everyone, though, as some towns and counties have announced they're simply not equipped to calculate the payments in time. John Schumo, CBS News, New York.
Now, critics of the Republican-led tax overhaul insist the cap disproportionately affects higher tax blue states, states that for the most part did not support President Trump in the 2016 election. So we'll see how that all works out. But you can't get it figured out until they actually have the numbers to give you.
That's right.
So you can't rush progress there.
Speaking of numbers, we're actually pretty warm this morning compared to quite a few others in the state.
You are a silver lining kind of girl.
You know, today is one of those days.
It is. And actually, we picked up a nice blanket of snow last night, so there may be some driving concerns early on for a few areas. But really, the temperatures are, as Missy mentioned, very mild. You compare it to Great Falls, 3 below in Great Falls. We're sitting into the teens and 20s here. Really the banana belt of Montana at this point. Temperatures into the mid-20s by the afternoon, a little light snow falling here and there. Throughout the day, we are under a winter storm warning for a good portion of the area. We'll talk more in depth about your forecast, of course, coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Matt. Now 6:33 here on your Thursday. Russian President Vladimir Putin could arguably be the most powerful man in the world. His 3 key tools, cyber power, military might, and a cult of personality, create an extensive web of influence. His popularity at home is extraordinary, with Russians celebrating their president despite their economy lingering.
All that happening even with vocal opposition calling for a boycott of the upcoming elections in March. CNN's Phil Black looks at the sources of Putin's power.
Some have argued Vladimir Putin could be the most powerful man in the world. But what are the sources of his power? Putin has 3 key tools: cyber power, military might, and a cult of personality. Together, they form an often effective web of influence. While Moscow denies its highly skilled hackers interfered in the US election, they've also been accused of causing big disruptions in other countries like Estonia and Ukraine, claims Russia also rejects. Russia's enormous hacking power, both state and criminal, isn't new and traces back to the USSR when its universities were designed to produce world-class engineers. Putin's power is also hugely enhanced by his personal control of Russia's vast military. Much of it, including the nukes, is also a Soviet legacy. So Putin has been pumping extraordinary amounts of money into its modernization. But most experts agree Russian conventional forces have a limited ability to project military power far from the country's borders. One of the biggest sources of Putin's power is his own extraordinary popularity at home. The more his behavior attracts criticism from other world leaders, the more Russians celebrate their president. His approval figures soared with Ukraine and spiked again with Syria. The reason? Many Russians really care about their country's ability to influence world events, even if it comes to sanctions and a hit to their own quality of life. Putin also benefits from a political system and a media landscape with zero tolerance for criticizing the president. So no doubt, Vladimir Putin is powerful and unpredictable, but he's also limited by some pretty big problems. The Russian economy isn't going anywhere. That's why there's another popular theory about Putin and his web of influence. He's someone who plays a weak hand very well.
Now, switching gears to some news a little bit closer to home, a rollover crash east of Livingston yesterday leaves one woman dead and a man injured. Montana Highway Patrol reports that the crash happened on Interstate 90 around 9:30 yesterday morning. The SUV lost traction and went off the side of the road before rolling. The woman in the vehicle suffered fatal injuries, and the man was later treated for non-life-threatening injuries. We were told that both victims were wearing a seatbelt at the time. The roads were icy also, which likely led to that crash. Drugs and alcohol are not considered factors. The victim is described only as a Montana resident. Her name has not yet been released.
Yellowstone County's and Montana's premier event center, the Metro Park, claims its most successful year ever. MTN's Dustin Kleeman takes a look back at what made 2017 a banner year and what's ahead.
2017 marked the best year in history for the Rimrock Auto Arena at Metro Park, with more than 100,000 tickets sold. In 42 years, the building never topped 80,000.
What people don't realize, though, about Metro Park is there's very little of that total revenue that comes in from tickets actually ends up at Metro Park. We reinvest almost everything that comes in making the experience better for our fans, our guests who come to watch events here. So being able to do even bigger shows as we go forward are the kind of things we want to do.
Those type of big show ideas produced country icon Garth Brooks hitting the stage 5 times in 3 nights.
I'm going to make this city a promise. If we ever tour again, I would love to come back.
And worldwide rock band Foo Fighters performing for 3 hours. Now, Bob Seger and Rod Stewart are on deck. But it goes beyond the music. Metra has beefed up security to events inside the arena with 12 walk-through metal detectors and further discussion with law enforcement on how to ensure safety for guests.
It is one network that's going to really work together to make it safe for everybody. It doesn't matter what the event is or the size of event, we're all in the same game together. And I think that's what you're going to see moving forward, a lot more of that, which should make everybody feel good.
The facility clocked about 820,000 visits, which is another all-time record. With 2018 on the horizon, a number of new shows in the works, and possible opportunities ahead, there remains areas of improvement.
The building is 42 years old at this point in time, so some remodeling of things could be really useful. The locker rooms, those areas are really 1970s base models. But by and large, we have stuff that is pretty good. We just like to move to a higher class of quality of what we do.
In Billings, I'm Dustin Kleeman, MTN News.
Dustin tells us Metro officials are keeping their eyes on the One Big Sky project development in downtown Billings and how that could impact the Metro's future as well.
Rod Stewart,
April 14th. I know she was Googling it when that was
I think I need to call my mom and all my sisters. We might need to go to Rod.
There you go.
Rod the
Missy
Bod.
will not be here on April 14th.
Rod Stewart, be still my heart. When Montana This Morning returns, we take an edible look at a part of Butte's mining history as John Amy takes a closer look at the influence of immigrants from Cornwall, England. But first, there's a closer look at what's coming up at 7 this morning on CBS This Morning.
Good morning. Ahead on CBS This Morning, homeowners are lining up by the thousands to pay their 2018 property taxes before the new law goes into effect. We'll talk with Jill Schlesinger about the new rules and whether it's worth to prepay. And Halo Top ice cream is now the best-selling pint in the country. How it started with one man's effort to make a natural dessert he could eat. We'll see you at 7.